It's time for Expert Alert, your chance to ask questions and get answers from experts.
Well, a very good morning and welcome to WLOX's Expert Alert. We are live on all of our streaming platforms, so thank you for joining us. We're here every Thursday talking to the experts, giving you the opportunity to ask them questions, any questions you may have about things that pertain to your situation or your life. So if you're watching us on Facebook, we are here, and we are, you have to cut the volume down on that. So that way we don't hear the echo. But if you want to ask questions, be sure to head over to the Facebook page and ask them here. I will see them here on this setup, and then I'll be able to ask the questions live. Today, we are talking to Jody Entrekin of Entrekin Insurance. Thanks for being here this morning.
Oh, thank you for having me.
So we have covered a host of things while we've been together. This is what, our third time?
Yes, sir.
Our third time, and we've kind of educated the coast on what insurance is, what it's about, why you need it, what happens if you don't have it. And we are, I should have known this already, the 20th of November, which means we are 10 days left of hurricane season.
Yes.
I remember when November 1st was the end of hurricane season. And then we started getting wild there towards the end of October, beginning of November, and they backed it up to the 30th. So we have 10 days left in hurricane season, and I'm going to be honest. A season without any storm in the Gulf
is great.
I don't know if I can recall in any recent history for me where there wasn't something.
You know, that's desperately needed for this area, and not just our area, because again, insurance, affects everybody. And what happens here on the Mississippi Gulf Coast also affects people throughout the rest of the country. So what happens in California affects us. So to not have all these major storms, not only just come through the Gulf, but no truly major event really hit us, it's desperately needed, and the help is coming. We're going to feel the relief here very soon in the insurance market, so I'm excited about that.
I know it's we had an above average projection for this year, and
yes,
listen, it doesn't matter how many. You could have 40 storms that don't come this way. It only takes one to ruin the day. I remember Mike Reeder saying that.
Very well said.
It only takes one storm to ruin your day, and it can have everybody else get. And listen, we had 4 or 5 Category 5 storms.
Yes.
Most of which were fish storms that just stayed out in the Atlantic, never bothered anybody. Of course, we had the one that hit Jamaica. But at the end of the day, in our area, we didn't have any storms in the Gulf at all. Maybe it's that Gulf of America thing. I'm not really sure. We'll see.
Beautiful.
So
remember, insurance is only important one time.
That's right.
That's when you need it. So for those events not to happen, that's great for us all.
It's a big deal. So now that hurricane season is winding down, for those folks that geared up for it, that were preparing themselves, you have to prepare. So for those folks that prepared for it, what do they need to do now to wind down out of hurricane season and prepare for winter?
Man, there's all kinds of things
from an insurance perspective.
Think about your insurance just like your vehicle. You have to maintain it. There's things that you have to do. So when you have a transition from hurricane season, to the fall and winter season, there's things that we need to prepare for as well. One of the most common claims that affects insurance, especially for property, is water damage, right? There's lots and lots of water damage claims. Well, that comes from a combination of stuff. And a lot of people, when they think of water damage, in the winter, what do they think of? Pipes freezing, right? Well, we don't have a ton of freezes down here, but we do have them. And it doesn't take long. So when you have them, there's things that we could do to prevent or mitigate, in insurance lingo, further damages. So not only, do you want to prevent that, nobody wants to go through the claim process. It's not fun, but we still have to do it. So what are things that you can do? The most common thing, think about the front of your house, the face of it, okay? If you have gutters, clean them out. Why is that important? If you have a gutter full of leaves, or debris, and a lot of times when you check out them gutters, you're going to see all this gravel on the inside, which we call aggregate. If you have a shingle roof, that's where it's coming from. So that's a good sign right there. If you see a bunch of aggregate inside your gutter, your roof needs to be checked. So if you lose your aggregate, you are losing the integrity and the strength and the repellent, okay, if you want to call it that at your will, from that roof itself. So you want to have a roof inspection. So if you're losing aggregate, now you can have water penetration. So if we do have a freeze that comes in and water has penetrated, and if there's water or moisture in between the decking and it freezes, as water freezes, what does it do? It expands. Yeah. So as it expands, it can damage, the wood structure. If you have leaves or whatever in your gutters that's clogging it so water can't drain, and it freezes and it goes up, it can damage your fascia, your soffits. It can damage all those. So you want to clean, those out. And roof inspections, they're just important, very, very important. But I don't recommend just anybody to go up there and climb on your roof. I really don't. Try to hire a professional.
Somebody that does it all the time.
Yes, because I know I don't want to climb up there on my roof.
I don't either.
But just hire a professional, and call your insurance agent. Your insurance agent, they're going to know a bunch of people, who knows what to look for and can help guide you in that sense. For me, this is personal experience for Jody Entrekin. In January, we had a freeze. Guess what happened? My HVAC went out right in the middle of it. It was like, wow, what a bad time for your air conditioning and heater system to go out. Thank goodness I had a fireplace as well, which leads to a combination of things. So let's prepare, and again, hire a professional, have them come out, look at your HVAC system. Is everything up to code? Is it the way it's supposed to be? Do they need to replace anything? Is it working? Is it functioning right? Because we don't think about it till we need it, and then it's too late, right? Just like it was for me, it was too late. When you have a fireplace, people think, oh, I'll just go throw some wood in there, set it on fire, get the heat in my house, right? So as that wood burns, what happens inside your chimneys? All that stuff gathers and starts to clog, and before you know it, that's now a fire hazard. So you want to hire a professional to come out there, or now it's coming wintertime, Santa Claus is getting ready to come.
That's right.
For all the kiddos out there, if you got a clogged, fireplace and a clogged plume, is that what they call it? I'm sorry. If you have a clogged plume, how's Santa going to come down, right? You want to get all that stuff cleaned out so that when there is open flame, that doesn't catch fire and spread throughout your house. So just those two things right there, which give us everyday creatures of comfort, during the cold winter months, we want to focus on that right there. Safety features, smoke alarms. It's a good time to check the batteries. Go up there, hit the test button, or like for me, I carry a book bag. Yesterday, I got new 9-volt batteries. Because I knew I'm coming on here, I'm going to talk about this. I'm like, okay, Jody, now I'm going to do it right before Thanksgiving, I'm going to go ahead and replace the batteries in all my smoke alarms. That way I know they're good. You do that once a year, you should be, good to go, for that right there. Let's get back a little bit to the freezing. I got off track for a second there. Pipes freeze. Man, technology is great. So they have these devices which you can now purchase, they're actually really smart. You wouldn't think so, but they're very smart. You can buy these devices. Some insurance carriers offer them. Some insurance carriers offer discounts for those, but it's really great for you to have as a homeowner, again, to mitigate any further damages or just to prevent you having to go through the claims process. Nobody wants to deal with it. It's not fun. I don't enjoy going to the doctor, but we got to go.
Sure.
We got to do it. So these things are called water shutoff valves. Some companies call them, automatic water turn-off systems. So in simple terms, you take this device, like this cup, okay, and you hire a plumber. They come out there, and they're going to disconnect the main water line to your house. They're going to insert this device and hook it up, right? So you now have this automatic water turn-off connected to the main water line of your home. So what does that do for you? Now you're out and you're working, or you're on vacation, or the freeze comes, and this device, which over time, when I say time, it's a short amount of time, it learns. That's where it's smart. It learns how much water is typical for you to use. So it also has sensors which you can place throughout your home, and if these sensors detect water, it sends a signal to this device, which on the inside turns a valve, turns water off. So now you have no more water coming in there flooding out your house. You know, and that's not the definition of flood, but it's what everybody calls it. So you don't have all this water flowing inside your home. That helps mitigate any further damages. It also gives you a time, and then with this system, it sends an alert to your phone. How crazy is that?
And lets you know. We have a question.
You know.
It says, my insurance recently renewed at a higher than anticipated cost. Do I have to wait until next year to change? I would imagine they're talking about homeowners insurance. With your auto insurance, you can switch out, I would imagine, more frequently. But I'm guessing this is for homeowners. Do they have to wait until next year to change?
No, you do not. That's actually, you know, for several insurance types. You know, so it doesn't really matter what it is. One of the beautiful things about the state of Mississippi is you have the right. You have the right to pick and choose who you want to, you know, control your insurance at any point in time. You know, so if you just got a new policy and it went up a lot and you're like, man, I'm not happy, you know, you can call your agent, you know, and say, hey, I don't like this. Can you find me another policy? You know, you have that control. You can leave anytime you want. You know, so that's entirely up to you. You are not locked in. Now, with that being said, some policies, you know, depends on the type of policy. They could have a penalty for you to leave within a certain time frame of that policy going into force. I would again call my agent and I would ask my agent, would there be any penalties to me canceling this policy or you providing me with another policy? And if there is, at what point in time could I swap, you know, to avoid that penalty? You know, so to answer that question, yes, you can leave. You do not have to wait that full policy term or the time frame within that period. You can leave early.
Perfect.
You know, so getting back to, you know, things that we can prevent, you know, to mitigate and prepare for the fall and winter months. You know, again, if we think about, you know, freezes, you know, right now we're transitioning into the fall period, so we're having all these leaves fall, right? I think Wesley was talking about it on the weather this morning. We're hitting the peak season right now for fall of leaves. Them gutters are going to get full, right? So it just kind of goes hand in hand with cleaning that out. Now, if we do have a freeze, or if we have a rain and they're like saying, hey, it's going to freeze, what happens to the trees? As that water freezes on them trees, adds a lot of weight, right? So now those limbs that are overhanging your house, they might break where they wouldn't before, just by the sheer weight of the frozen ice, you know, or dew that's on that tree, or it could help it fall. Or if you still have that water on your home, the weight of that, if your structure is not sound and strong, the weight of that ice could cause a collapse of some type. You know, so again, we want to make sure that all of that is cleaned.
Especially if you have these massive, you know, oak trees around
Yes.
your house that you don't even realize may be dead inside.
Yes.
Maybe, and you can't tell because they look just fine on the outside, could be causing major issues for you down the road that you're not even thinking of or preparing for because you can't see through.
You know what, a lot of people don't really think about it, and I never did either, you know, until I saw one cut open. Oak trees, right? Everyone talks about oak trees down here on the coast. They're beautiful trees. I get it. How many of us really think about a water oak?
Right.
Have you ever seen a water oak where someone cut it? If you take it, I mean, I've seen this with my own eyes. They take a chainsaw and they cut the water oak, water pours out of it. It's hollow on the inside. You know, so water's heavy. You know, as it freezes, what's it going to do?
Yeah.
You know, so it's very dangerous, and I never realized that before till I saw it myself. You know, because I had to cut trees away from my house as well.
We got a couple minutes left, Jody. What is number one thing, I guess, to wrap it up, when folks are getting into this kind of season? What is your number one thing you would share with folks?
really is the maintenance and preparation of everything that we just discussed. Those are very, very, very important things. One of the things I just want to hit on, again, is remember your insurance policy, it is absolutely not a maintenance plan. It is an indemnity plan, which means it's to make you whole, as you were before. However, you have responsibilities, yourself that you have to do. Maintain whatever it is. Clean it up. Have heat to your structure, as an example. If you don't have heat to your structure, your claim could be denied if freezes or water pipes, things like that, were to burst. So just make sure that you know your responsibility for whatever it may be. Just because you have an insurance policy doesn't mean that you're getting a blank check.
Sure.
You have to maintain it.
Yeah, you got to protect the investment for sure.
Yes.
You mentioned here it's like insurance is not going to pay for an oil change.
That is correct.
But if you lose your engine because you didn't get an oil change, then it's a whole different ball of wax. Same thing with vitamins.
Yes.
Like you want to maintain your body, vitamin supplements. That way you don't have to rely on insurance to heal you when you're sick.
Yes.
There's a lot going on there. We will be right back here next month with Jody with Entrekin Insurance. Until then, we will see you next time on WLOX's Expert Alert.
Thank you for joining us for Expert Alert. We'll feature more experts at the same time on Thursday in 2 weeks.